I'm Lawrence Rosenthal. My friends call me Larry. I'm a musician. I've been interested in the teaching of George Gurdjieff for a long time and have played and studied his music also for many years. Gurdjieff was born in the late 1860s in Armenia. He was interested in the major questions about why we're here, what is the meaning of our life, and traveled for many years all over Asia and parts of Africa to try to find hidden knowledge that he felt sure existed. He returned to Russia around 1912-13, somewhere around there, and began attracting pupils and beginning to give to them a teaching which he evolved based on his understanding of these questions. Gurdjieff was, I guess you'd have to call him a spiritual teacher. He was a master. Many people who are very devoted to Gurdjieff and to his music put it in a kind of separate category from all other music. And one has to start by realizing that it contains all the elements that all music contains. It's got melody, it's got harmony, it's got rhythm, and the materials that it uses are completely traditional, are completely conventional. So there is nothing really on the surface which makes it different from a lot of other music. The interesting thing is that when musicians hear this music, and this includes myself, the first impression is, oh, well, it just, it sounds like that, or it sounds like Rimsky-Korsakov, or it sounds like some kind of music from a bazaar in Baghdad. And all of these automatic pigeonholings begin to take place. And then suddenly something begins to change, and you begin to realize that the similarity to all this music is purely on the surface, and that underneath something else exists. But what is that something else? And what does make it different from all these musics which it superficially resembles? You have to really listen by trying to relax away from all the conditioning and really hear what the music is trying to say in order to allow a channel to be opened in which the music can simply speak from itself without reference to its cultural associations. Gurdjieff composed music, but he was a teacher, and he composed this music to teach something. What he was doing in this music was trying to express something which he could not express in words. Here was this extraordinary body of ideas, which he called all and everything. Even that could not, by its very nature, express verbally what these tones could express, which speak to another part of the human receptivity. What really makes it different was his intention. He did not compose it to entertain. He composed it to be a kind of food for inner growth. Gurdjieff's music is very, very special in the sense that it produces a certain quality in the listener which urges him to question, to remain open. And it's interesting that even in these seemingly innocuous folkloristic dances, lurking just beneath the surface is that very same quality, the quality that is really asking the question, who am I? Gurdjieff was very sensitive to all these different ethnicities among which he lived. He was a natural musician, but completely untrained. He sang in the choir as a boy, sang in the church choir, but he was sort of an amateur at best. Hartmann was a composer who was already very successful when he was 20 years old. He had written a ballet which was performed at the Imperial Theater in St. Petersburg, danced by Nijinsky and Pavlova in the presence of the Tsar. He was really on his way to major success, one of the stars of the Russian musical firmament, when he met Gurdjieff. And this was a turning point in his life because he had many questions, these very questions which I spoke about. And Gurdjieff seemed to promise some guidance. And he attached himself to Gurdjieff and followed him for many years, almost completely abandoning his career, although he went on composing music and collaborating with Gurdjieff on music which Gurdjieff needed for his dances, and later on piano music, of which they composed together a very sizable body of work.